Modifier runs. They're so fun and so cool, and also a very good way to farm experience, and also just make the game more fun in general, because now you can implement modifiers into the runs, which I think is super cool. Not to mention that you can get modifier entities. These entities range from very, very weird to cool, and I think some of these entities are really fun to go up against, like, in general. I won't be talking about the ones that were added in the Spread the Love update. Instead, I'll be talking about the ones that were added when modifiers came out for the first time, which there's quite a decent amount. I think all of them are super cool, so let's talk about them. Litany being first up essentially is just like Dozer, except instead of having to just crouch once, you can also slide whilst doing this, so again, you'll be fine. You don't have to just crouch, you can slide as well, and you can move freely, so don't worry about that. Basically, when Litany appears, you'll see its eye begin to open, and once it opens, it'll check to see if you're sliding, crouched, etc, etc. Basically just not standing up. It'll open its eyes 3 times, and then it'll disappear. It's pretty much just like Dozer, but it attacks more than once. I think it's really cool. It's just, technically, I think this is an easier version of Dozer, if I'm being honest. It does attack more than once, but it's easier to combat. Cuckoo! Probably my favorite entity in the entire game. I love Cuckoo so much. I think it's a super cool entity. This acts as a clock, a cuckoo clock, and basically when it spawns on your screen, you'll see its cuckoo clock point at the time of which it's going to stop. And essentially, it'll count up until it hits that exact time that it hit, or the number that it hit, and once it hits that number, you have to put everything away out of your hand. Meaning if you're holding something, make sure you unequip it when it hits that time, because if it does, then he'll check to see if you have something in your hand, and if you don't, then he'll disappear. If you do, then you'll die. So again, not that hard to combat. It's a really cool enemy, really unique. I really like the way he's designed. I really love him a lot. It's so freaking cool. Doppel. Doppel is pretty easy. Basically, it just acts as like a constant threat, and it's literally a doppelganger. Eventually, you'll see a bit of text on your screen signifying that Doppel has spawned and is now chasing from behind you. Basically, Doppel acts as like a mimic, right? It mimics your every move, so it'll follow you, and until it touches you, that's when it'll disappear. When it does touch you, it doesn't kill you, but instead it makes your screen black and white, like a VHS kinda, and it also inverts your controls. So it'll invert your controls for quite a decent amount of time. Not super long, it'll only be like a couple of seconds, but it's long enough to where it's pretty agitating, especially when you have to deal with a bunch of other things at once. Rue. I honestly think that Rue is one of the most annoying out of them all. Like, genuinely, I think Rue is super annoying. Basically, Rue will always come from behind you, and you'll see a little circle in front of you signifying that Rue is getting closer to you. The closer it gets, and once it starts to turn red, that's when you have to turn around, because Rue is quite literally right behind you. Once you see Rue behind you, then you flash him to get rid of him. He does attack pretty often, so it is pretty annoying to deal with, but as long as you pay attention to the circle, and then you see once it starts to get red, that's when you turn around and flash Rue to get him away. Once he touches you, you die. That's literally it. He's so annoying to deal with when you have to combat so many other things, because it's like, with the overhaul of other things, you're not really paying attention to the circle as much. You're paying attention to more like other things that are on your screen, like Dozer or Cuckoo or Litany, and it gets really frustrating. But I don't think he's the worst. I just think he's a bit agitating to deal with. The Doombringer. I hate this little thing with a passion. It's a little rat that's in your hotbar, and you can basically hold it out to see the little rat. It's a rat. I think it's a rat. I don't know. It looks like a rat. It has a long tail like a rat, but it could be a mouse. Who knows? It's a Doombringer, and basically, it doesn't act on anything when it's in the safe room. It doesn't like try to kill you or anything. It's just in your hand. But once you're in the run and you're running around to the safe room, right? You're in a run, right? But once you're running through rooms, trying to get to the next safe room, eventually it'll start to scream randomly. It'll scream and scream until you shut it up by basically holding it out and closing its mouth by clicking. It's really not that hard to deal with, but can be quite annoying when paired with another entity like Cuckoo, or just if you're not paying attention well enough. You let it scream for way too long, it'll kill you. Pretty much it. Can be quite annoying, but you can also buy the Doombringer in the shop. Why? You can get skins for it. I guess that's cool. Why can you buy it? I don't know. But yeah, that's a Doombringer. Really annoying enemy. Now, technically, I wasn't going to talk about the Epic Duck, because the Epic Duck was technically included in the April Fool's update, but I thought I would include it just because why not? It's kind of weird that it doesn't have a document, but it has a trait, a bound trait, which I think is weird. But basically, the Epic Duck acts like the Goat Man. and once it starts to get close to you, right, it'll show in the top left the how close the Epic Duck is to you. That way you can know when to flash it. And once it does get close enough to where you can flash it, it'll give you an indicator telling you to flash it. So every time you flash the Epic Duck, it doesn't get rid of it, instead it pushes it back. So you have to keep running and running, and you only ever need to flash it when you're in like a hiding spot, because that's when the Epic Duck can actually gain distance. As long as you're going fast enough, the Epic Duck usually won't catch up to you. You can just flash it back if it does get close enough. It's basically just an easier version of the Goatman. And yeah, that's pretty much all the modifier entities that were added when the modifier update came out. I want to say that it was incredible to have played the modifiers when, it was a command, right? Back when it was, like testing, and you had to like type in the slash command to like trigger the modifier runs. I think that was super freaking cool and super fun. I had an absolute blast playing with those enemies, and now they're just kind of, they're cool, but they're not that something special. I think most of the mechanics that they have are really unique, and I think that's super cool, especially Roo and Cuckoo. But yeah, I'll talk about the newer ones in the Spread the Love update in the next video. And yeah, that's all. Thanks for watching.